Something's shifting inside the walls at Allen Park, and the implications could reshape everything we thought we knew about the Lions' future. Welcome to Lions News Fan Report, your home for the most up-to-date news, insider analysis, and the rumors that matter most about our beloved Detroit Lions. I'm here to bring you the stories that others miss, the connections that change perspectives, and the honest conversations that every true Lions fan deserves. Today, I need you to stay with me through every word of this breakdown because what I'm about to share isn't just another draft speculation or roster update. This is about the foundation of our offense, the protection of our franchise, and a possibility that might seem unthinkable right now but becomes more logical the deeper we dive into the details. Trust me, by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why the next 12 months could determine whether number 16 remains under center at Ford Field for years to come. Let me start by painting you a picture of where we stand right now. The Lions have built something special over these past 2 seasons. We've transformed from a team that opposing defenses used to circle on their calendars as an easy win into a legitimate contender that strikes fear into anyone who has to face us. And at the center of that transformation has been the steady, intelligent, and remarkably consistent play of our quarterback. But here's the thing about building a championship-caliber team in the modern NFL. Sustainability requires constant evolution, and evolution sometimes means making uncomfortable assessments about every position on the roster, including the most important one. Now, before anyone jumps to conclusions, I want to be crystal clear about something. I'm not saying that the Lions are actively shopping Goff or that he's demanding a trade. That's not what this is about. What I am saying is that we need to examine the structural changes happening around him and consider how those changes could influence decisions that nobody's talking about publicly yet. Because in my years of following this team, I've learned that the moves you don't see coming are often the ones that make the most sense when you look at all the variables in play. And right now, there are more variables swirling around our quarterback situation than most fans realize. Let's talk about something that should concern every Lions fan who cares about sustained success. Our offensive line is facing a potential crisis. Taylor Decker, our anchor at left tackle since 2016, has started dropping hints about his future that range from cryptic to downright ominous. The veteran has given multiple interviews where he's discussed the physical toll of playing offensive line in the NFL, the desire to be present for his family, and the reality that every player has to evaluate whether one more season is worth the sacrifice. Now, I'm not here to speculate about Decker's personal decisions. He's earned the right to make whatever choice is best for him and his family. But as fans and analysts, we have to prepare for the possibility that our left tackle position could be completely up in the air heading into next season, and it doesn't stop there. When you look at the current free agent landscape heading into 2026, it's not exactly overflowing with proven offensive line talent. Outside of maybe Tyler Linderbaum at center or Rashid Walker at tackle, there aren't many plug-and-play solutions available on the open market. This means the Lions are going to have to rely heavily on their draft room and scouting department to identify and develop the next generation of pass protectors. Right now, Penei Sewell and rookie Tate Ratledge are the only offensive linemen who feel like absolute locks to return and start next season. Think about that for a second. We could be looking at rebuilding 3 positions on the offensive line simultaneously while trying to maintain our window of championship contention. Here's where this story takes a turn that connects directly to our quarterback situation. Goff isn't a 25-year-old dual-threat quarterback who can scramble away from pressure and extend plays with his legs. He's a 30-year-old pocket passer whose greatest strengths are his quick decision-making, his accuracy from a clean pocket, and his ability to process defenses at the line of scrimmage. Those are elite qualities, don't get me wrong, but they all require one fundamental element to function effectively: time. And time in the pocket comes from offensive line play. If the Lions entered next season with Dan Skipper and Giovanni Manu as our depth options at tackle, with a revolving door at left guard, where we've cycled through Christian Mahogany, Miles Frazier, Coyote Awosika, and Tristan Cullen without finding a clear answer, then we're asking Goff to operate under conditions that could significantly impact his effectiveness and, more importantly, his health. Now, let's layer in another reality that nobody wants to discuss, but that every general manager in the league has to consider. Goff has been remarkably durable throughout his career, but he's also taken a lot of hits. Every quarterback has a shelf life, and that shelf life gets shorter every time they're on the ground. If you're the Lions front office, you have to ask yourself a tough question. Do we invest in rebuilding an offensive line around our current quarterback, or do we consider whether this might be the optimal time to explore all options, including what Goff's trade value looks like in a market starving for veteran quarterback play? And make no mistake, that market exists. Look around the league right now. There are multiple contending teams with quarterback questions. There are win-now franchises that would absolutely consider trading significant assets for a proven quarterback who's demonstrated he can run a complex offense and win big games. If you're Goff's agent, you're also looking at this situation and thinking about whether your client wants to spend the next few years behind a reconstructed offensive line, or whether there might be opportunities to play for a team with an established elite offensive line that's just a quarterback away from making a Super Bowl run. Let me be very clear about my perspective on this, because I know some of you are probably feeling anxious right now. I believe Jared Goff has been phenomenal for this franchise. He's exceeded expectations, he's won over a fan base that was skeptical when he first arrived, and he's proven that the Rams made a massive mistake in moving on from him. I want nothing more than to see him succeed in Detroit, and I genuinely believe that if we can solve our offensive line issues through the draft and smart roster construction, there's no reason he can't continue to be our quarterback for years to come. But I also believe in being realistic about the business side of football and the various scenarios that could unfold over the next calendar year. Here's a scenario that's entirely plausible. The Lions use their first-round pick on Alabama's Caden Proctor, the third-ranked offensive lineman who's allowed just 1 sack this season, along with only 3 quarterback hits and 16 total pressures, according to PFF. They follow that up by selecting Oregon's Emmanuel Pregnon in the second round, a guard who allowed 0 sacks at USC in 2024 and who's ranked as one of the top interior offensive linemen in this draft class. Those 2 picks would immediately address our biggest needs on the offensive line and provide young, cost-controlled talent that could protect our quarterback for the next decade. In that scenario, Goff stays, we run it back with an improved offensive line, and we continue building toward a championship. That's absolutely the outcome I'm hoping for. But here's the alternate scenario that we have to acknowledge. What if the draft doesn't fall our way? What if Proctor gets selected before we're on the clock, and the guards we target don't develop as quickly as we need? What if Decker does retire, and we're forced to start a rookie at left tackle while simultaneously breaking in a new guard? In that scenario, we're potentially putting Goff in a position where he's under constant pressure, where his effectiveness diminishes, and where both parties might start wondering if there is a better fit elsewhere. That's not what I want to see happen, but it's a possibility that exists in the realm of realistic outcomes. The other factor we can't ignore is the salary cap implications. Goff's contract is structured in a way that makes him movable if the team decides to go in a different direction. I'm not suggesting they should, but the financial flexibility exists. And if a team came calling with a significant offer, multiple first-round picks, or a combination of picks and proven players, the Lions would be obligated to at least listen. That's not being disloyal to Goff, that's being responsible stewards of the franchise's future. Every general manager in the league has to balance loyalty with pragmatism, and sometimes those difficult conversations lead to unexpected outcomes. What makes this situation even more complex is the timing. The Lions are in the middle of a genuine Super Bowl window right now. Our defense is playing at an elite level. We have playmakers on offense, and the coaching staff has this team believing they can beat anyone. If the offensive line situation deteriorates and impacts our ability to compete at the highest level, that window could close faster than anyone anticipates. And if you're in the front office, you have to weigh whether patching together the offensive line for one more year with Goff is the best path forward, or whether making a bold move that reshapes the roster might actually increase our championship odds in the long run. I want to emphasize again that I'm not advocating for the Lions to move on from Goff. I'm simply analyzing the various factors that could influence decisions over the next year. The best-case scenario is that we nail the draft, our offensive line comes together beautifully, and Goff continues to elevate his game while leading us to playoff success. That's what I'm rooting for, and that's what I believe this organization is working toward. But part of being an informed fan is understanding all the possibilities, even the uncomfortable ones. So here's where I want to hear from you. Do you think the Lions should be exploring all options at quarterback? Or do you believe Goff has earned the right to be our guy regardless of what happens with the offensive line? And if the right offer came along, what would it take for you to feel comfortable with the team moving in a different direction? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, because this is exactly the type of discussion that makes our community special. Looking at everything we've covered today, the reality is that the next few months are going to be absolutely critical for the future of this franchise. The draft will tell us a lot about the direction the front office wants to take. The decisions around Decker and our other free agents will shape what the 2026 roster looks like. And somewhere in all of that, there will be conversations about Goff's role moving forward. I trust this organization to make the right calls, but I also believe in keeping fans informed about all the factors in play. If you found this analysis valuable, I need you to hit that like button right now, subscribe to Lions News, Fan Report if you haven't already, and smash that notification bell so you never miss an update. This is where you get the real talk about our Detroit Lions, the analysis that goes deeper than the headlines, and the community of passionate fans who care about this team as much as you do. Share this video with your fellow Lions fans, because these are the conversations we need to be having. I'll be back with more updates, more analysis, and more insider perspectives on everything happening with our team. One pride, let's go. Lions!